Musashi by Eiji Yoshikawa. Miyamoto Musashi was the child of an era when Japan was emerging from decades of civil strife. Lured to the great battle of Sekigahara in 1600 by the hope of becoming a samurai without really knowing what it meant, he regains consciousness after the battle to find himself lying defeated, dazed, and wounded among thousands of the dead and dying. On his way home, he commits a rash act, becomes a fugitive, and brings life in his own village to a standstill, until he is captured by a weaponless Zen monk. The lovely Otsu, seeing in Musashi her ideal of manliness, frees him from his torturous punishment, but he is recaptured and imprisoned. During 3 years of solitary confinement, he delves into the classics of Japan and China. When he is set free again, he rejects the position of samurai and for the next several years pursues his goal relentlessly, looking neither to the left nor to the right. Ever so slowly, it dawns on him that following the way of the sword is not simply a matter of finding a target for his brute strength. Continually striving to perfect his technique, which leads him to a unique style of fighting with two swords simultaneously, he travels far and wide, challenging fighters of many disciplines, taking nature to be his ultimate and severest teacher and undergoing the rigorous training of those who follow the way. He is supremely successful in his encounters, but in the art of war he perceives the way of peaceful and prosperous governance and disciplines himself to be a real human being. He becomes a reluctant hero to a host of people whose lives he has touched and by whom he has been touched. Inevitably, he has to pit his skill against the naked blade of his greatest rival. Musashi by Eiji Yoshikawa is a long, sweeping samurai epic, and I loved it, especially in audiobook form. I've always had a soft spot for long audiobooks. Part of that is simply value for money, but it's also because I listen to audiobooks while driving, multitasking, or doing chores, and longer titles just fit into my life better. Short audiobooks feel too quick, and if I only have a short window of time, I'm more likely to just listen to music or read something else. For me, long run times and audiobooks go hand in hand. One thing people do is they compare Musashi to Shogun, and I don't agree with that at all. Musashi feels far more personal. I'd actually compare it to a Japanese Gone with the Wind or even a telenovela. It's romance, betrayal, people mistreating each other, sudden emotional turns, and constant interpersonal tension. It's full of those, oh wow, I didn't see that coming moments that make you immediately want to know what happens next. That sense of personal drama is a big part of its charm. Some people might call this historical fiction, but I think that label is only partially true. While it's set in a historical era, it feels like the author was writing for a contemporary audience of that time rather than trying to educate future readers about the period. The focus isn't on political movements or detailed historical accuracy. It's on entertainment, character drama, romance, and heroism. In that sense, it's more like a western, a soap opera, or epic romance that happens to take place in the past. If you enjoy sprawling stories, intense romances, western-style heroic arcs, or tales about samurai and moral growth, this is a fantastic pick. The audiobook itself is excellent. The narrator really inhabits the characters and drives the momentum of the story. Sure, a multicast production would have been amazing, but the single narrator here obviously gets the job done and makes the experience feel alive. Overall, Musashi is a top-tier recommendation for me, especially as an audiobook.